So we get a lot of information via graphs. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time and show you how to read graphs and just make sure, right, we can pay attention to some of the details. So this first one, it's called a line graph, and it represents, so the percentage of Americans who have listened to a podcast in the past month, and it says has increased steadily since 2013. So then right here you can see it says the percent of U.S. adults ages 12 or older who have listened to a podcast in the past month. And then you can see the vertical axis here, right? We have percentages. In the horizontal axis, right? These look like they would be years, right? So horizontal axis represents, right, the years. And the vertical axis represents the percent of U.S. adults who listened to a podcast. Okay, and you can kind of see, right, it does go up. There was a little dip here between 2012 and 2013, but otherwise a nice steady increase. So what percent of adults listened to a podcast in 2015? Right, so we'd go to 2015, go up and get on your graph, and then kind of estimate then what percent that looks like. Looks like it's between 15 and 20. So maybe we'll say, how about 18%? What is the increase in percent between 2016 and 2008? So how much did it go up between 2008, right, when it was 9%, and 2016, when it was 21%, right? What is the increase in percent? So that's, right, 21 minus 9. So what is that, 12%? A 12% increase in that time. During what year was there a decrease in the percent of adults who listened to podcasts? So again, that was this one time when it went down. So that was in 2012. And then finally, when was the percent equal to 15%? When did 15% of U.S. adults listen to podcasts? So I'm going to go to the 15%, come over, get on the graph. It looks like that was in 2014. Okay, so that's reading a line graph. Sometimes we also get pie graphs. So this represents the percent projected among eligible Latino voters. And it looks like it's corresponding to the different generations. And I should have the years written on here, but I don't. Sorry about that. So what generation has the highest projected percent of Latino voters? Right. So it's the biggest section of the pie. It's also the biggest percent number. So that would be the millennials. Millennials, right? And it had at 44%. Right? So let me get what this would be. So these are all of our eligible Latino voters. Oh, so 44% of the eligible Latino voters are in the millennial generation. Okay, there we go. So if there are 27.3 million eligible Latino voters in the U.S., how many are Gen Xers? Oh, how many Gen Xers are there? How about that? Okay, so 26%, right? 26% are Gen Xers. 26% of the eligible Latino voters are Gen Xers. So 26% of, remember, is multiply, the 27.3 million, okay, are Gen Xers. So we're just going to do that math. So percents go in as decimal, so 0.26 times 27.3 million. I'm going to keep the million there. I'm hoping I don't actually have to do the decimal or the decimal version. So 0.26 times 27.3, 7.1. I'm going to go ahead and round. So 7.1. There are 7.1 million eligible voters who are Gen X. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to do with graphs is use the Cartesian Coordinate Plane, also the XY plane, and then finally it can be called the Rectangular Coordinate System. Okay, so what are the parts that we have? So this is kind of what it looks like. You draw the horizontal and the vertical lines. So the x-axis is right here. The x-axis actually has the equation y equals 0. That's the equation to describe the x-axis. You can just know that it's the horizontal one. The y-axis has the equation x equals 0, and it is the vertical one. The origin, that's a point, and it's the point where they intersect. It has the coordinate 0, 0. And then the quadrants, right? So quad 4. So the axes kind of break up the plane into 4 different quadrants. And the one where everything's positive is quadrant 1, and we use Roman numerals. I don't know why. And then we go counterclockwise. So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and finally quadrant 4 in the lower right. Ordered pairs. So this is how we describe points in the plane. So ordered pairs, the order means the x part goes first and the y part goes second. And we use the parentheses and the comma. The x-coordinate tells you how far left if it's negative or right if it's positive from the origin. So how far left or right do you go? And then the y-coordinate tells you how far up or down from the origin. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot and label these points over here. So my first one is negative 4, 3. So negative 4 says we're going to go 4, and it's negative, so we'll go left 4. And then the 3 is positive, so we'll go up 3. So it's kind of like giving, right, directions. And the first piece of information tells you to go left or right, and the second piece tells you to go up or down. So there's point A. Point B, so it's 3, so we're going to go right 3, and then negative 4, so down 4. If you want to go ahead and pause and see if you can get those next 4. So C, we go right 3 and then up 4. D is negative 1, so 1 to the left and then 5 up. E, 0, 1. So I don't go left or right at all. I just stay here, but then I go up 1. So that's on the y-axis. And F, this time I'm going to go left 6, so negative 6 to the left, but then not up or down at all. So I just stay right there. Okay. I guess that's it for graphing.